Hey, what's going on everybody? Cookies here, back with another boss guide. This time we're going over Sun King on Mythic difficulty. This is through the perspective of a Holy Priest, and I get a lot of questions of why do you play Holy Priest rather than Disc Priest? Really all it is just our guild strategy. We run double Holy Priest because they provide Guardian Angel and Divine Hymn, which both increases the boss's overall healing taken from every healer in the group. So it is way more of a benefit to run double Holy Priest and to stack those cooldowns when we need them to break the boss's Mythic Mechanic Shield and stuff like that. So as far as my Holy Priest stuff goes, you can see my talents, my soul binds, all that stuff, my legendary up at the top left. You can also see what spells I'm casting up here at the top left. And other than that, we'll kind of just go into the fight. So the first thing is I'm running Flash Concentration. This isn't mandatory by any means. You can just run like the double Power Infusion legendary, or you can just run literally whatever. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Like as a Holy Priest, you're not going to be the one pumping a ton of healing into the boss. You're going to be more of like a support role, so think of it that way. So if you want, run Flash Concentration. If you don't, you run whatever you want, really. And what this does is every time I cast Flash Heal, we're going to gain a stacking buff. You can see that right below my pull timer here. And it stacks up to 5 times, and then it decreases like the mana cost and the cast time of our regular heal. So it basically makes heal as potent as Flash Heal, but costs like almost no mana. So we want to keep this at 5 stacks as much as possible. So the idea is you get to 5 stacks, and then just every time it's getting close to running out, you throw another Flash Heal out. What you should be doing is you can actually pre-stack this before the boss, as long as somebody shrouds. And then as long as you don't get into combat right away, you can actually make sure that your first heal the first heal you put out will keep the buff alive, as long as you don't hit a DPS button on the pole. And I have a weak aura here that you can also see down here. A lot of this boss fight, I'll say this right now as like a preface again, is a lot of this boss fight is like down to your guild strategy and your guild's overall way of dealing with the fight. So a lot of it's going to be assigned to you. So the way I do things here may be completely different from the way that you end up doing things. And I think that's why it's important to understand that what I go through here is mostly going to be going through like the weak auras that I use, going through like the mindset that I have, the just like the fundamental stuff that you can carry through into the fight. But as far as when I'm using Guardian Angel, when I'm using Divine Hymn, when I'm using my major cooldowns, that's literally just going to be dependent on your group. So that's just what you need to ask your own group and kind of figure that out for yourself. So what this weak aura does here at the bottom is, I'll just keep playing this, it will track the active buffs that are on the boss. It'll track Divine Hymn, whether it's mine or the other Holy Priest. So you can see mine still hasn't been used, so this is the other Holy Priest. And then also it tracks Guardian Angel from myself and the Holy Priest. It just tracks the duration. And then lastly, it tracks my own renew. So this will only track my renew, not the other priest, and that's because I'm running the talent, the first row talent up here. I think it's called Renewed Faith, which increases your healing done on targets with renew by 10%. So the goal should be 100% uptime on renew on the boss. Other than this, some fundamental things as a Holy Priest to do healing is you're going to be putting a lot of your healing to the boss, obviously. Your flash healing, and then you can see that I'm keeping that like 5-stack buff up. And then I'm using regular heals. You can see my renew falls off here, but we're going into the phase, so that's okay. And then my Prayer of Mending cast, you should always be putting Prayer of Mending into the raid, not into the boss, because if you throw it on the boss, it's just going to stay on the boss and not do anything. So you want to throw it on the raid. So just on cooldown, throw Prayer of Mending on like a tank or a DPS, it really doesn't matter. And then you're really just using Holy Words and playing Holy Priest like you normally would. And then here's like where, we stack up for Ember Blast. I'll rewind it just a tiny bit. So we stack up for Ember Blast. This is where spells like Holy Word Sanctify and Circle of Healing should be used. So like there you can see I kind of wasted Sanctify. I should have waited till this popped and then pressed it. And then besides this, you're just DPSing the boss. So you should be like here, you see me DPSing, and then we're kind of healing up the raid again. And then it's just like this interval of DPS the boss. And so like here I should be just full DPSing. You can see me using Smite, Holy Fire. And then once that shield breaks, I should be prepping for the next Ember Blast. I heal and I help, get the raid topped off after the Ember Blast. Then we dodge and bait the Blazing Surge. And then we make sure everyone's topped off. And then we're going to have another shield here soon in 10 seconds, you can see. So it'll be Ember Blast into shield this time. So what we're going to do is just make sure that the raid's nice and topped off. We're doing a little bit of damage. We apply our Holy Fire ahead of time. And there's the shield, and now we just start DPSing. So we're just full DPSing the boss. So every time that shield is applied in the intermission, you need to be helping DPS the boss. Like, there is no reason to heal whatsoever, because that shield will just wipe your raid instantly if you don't kill it fast enough. So you should always be helping. And the Ember Blast isn't that deadly, it's just using, like I mentioned, those AoE abilities to kind of top off the group after each time that it goes off. And I should also be, like, a big mistake that I'm making here is not using Prayer of Mending nearly enough. And then here we go back into the boss, we're casting Flash Heal, refreshing this, you know, duration, and casting Heal. So the mistake that I keep seeing myself do, and I have only done this fight about, like, I don't know, maybe, like, I've had a total of, like, 20 pulls on it, I think. But it is important to put Renew back on the boss, and you can see my weak aura does not show, it's not tracking Renew. And I don't think for the rest of the pull I put it back on the boss, which is absolutely awful, because that's literally just 10% flat healing that I'm just not doing to the boss now with all of these spells. So that means, like, every 10 cast of heal, I'm losing a heal, essentially. And as far, I'm not going to go too much in depth of, like, what we're doing here, because this is mostly just the strategy of, like, what we're doing. You can see these, like, so he has reverse shields in the non-intermission, so when he's up here on the platform, he's going to put a shield on himself that needs to be healed through. That's what you want to use, like, Holy Word, Serenity, and your, you know, spam flash, or spam heal or flash heal, stuff like that. You want to use that on the shield when he does this. So you want to make sure you absolutely always have a Holy Word, Serenity for that. And that's, I mean, that's really the whole fight, is just understood. Like, I'm making so many mistakes here that it's not even worth, like, going through each individual thing. But like I mentioned, should be using Prayer of Mending on cooldown, just on anyone in the raid. It doesn't matter who, because everyone's going to be taking damage. And then you should be keeping your 5-stack buff up, keeping Renew on the boss, and then just pouring a lot of heals, just regular heals or flash heals into the boss without expending too much mana. And then during the intermission here, you're using spells like Circle of Healing and Holy Word, Serenity, or Sanctify, sorry. I always forget the differences between the two. You should be using those to heal, like, each of the Ember Blasts, and then just DPSing the boss. And that's pretty much the whole fight. So, like I said, I'm not going to go too much in depth over, like, the strategy and stuff like that. If you have any questions about this fight or need help, feel free to message me in my Discord, or just send me a DM on Discord. And the weak aura that I use down here, I will post a, because it's a pre-made weak aura that someone made. You just have to make sure that Kel'Thas is your focus target. So I will post that in, like, a pinned comment down below. And it's one that I, like, edited myself to add the Renew, because before it only tracks the Guardian Angel and the Divine Hymn, but I added Renew on there because I was having a really hard time keeping it up, and I still am. So I will post that weak aura down below if you guys would like to use it. So other than that, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.